What's going on, y'all? Peace and light, peace and love. Thank you for connecting with me this week yet again. I started to not come on here because, I just been in a space. A lot of downloads coming in. I've been so tired. I've been up, I've been down, I've been left, I've been right. But then I ran across some information that I had put down a long time ago that was just helpful for me. This is before I even started with doing the podcast and everything. And I thought, shit, this right here is some really powerful information um that's going to be helpful, especially as we start transitioning into 2024, which is an 8 year. This is all about us stepping into our power, looking out for opportunities, success. This is that money and abundance number. And I said, shit, let me make sure that I share these rules to the game with the family out there before we get this year set off, so that we can just give it enough time to marinate within our system, so that we can really begin to apply this shit moving forward, right? So yeah, definitely shout out to the soul family, all those cats that slide through the Sirius cipher, those that don't get a chance to. Peace and light, peace and love to you all. Sending y'all all so much love, woo, 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 and all of that good shit. Today, I don't know what y'all did with that new moon, that 12-12 energy and everything. I was kind of like laying low and just staying out of the way. And yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing. Do a little bit of house magic, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of house magic. And where I was working with, of course, y'all saw I was, if you didn't, I was on Instagram with a whole bunch of herbs. I had my thyme and I had my oregano. And so in working with those two, I made me a smoke bowl and put them in there and allowed that energy to permeate throughout my house. Now, this is when you work with oregano and you work with thyme, those two together, well, both of those, they bring about an energy of prosperity, success, and health, right? And good fortune. That oregano, it brings about that good fortune, and it's all about your wellness. So this is about health, it's about wellness and everything. And you get that whole energy smudging throughout your house because, this was that Sagittarius, that fire energy. We had to honor that and whatnot, So I had to do it that way. And then definitely got me a little bath to just really charge up my aura with all of the downloads and shit. I have been so busy with putting all of this work down. It was like I was just downloading and I ain't had time to do nothing but jot shit down. I'm up, spirit give me up. I'm looking at the clock. I'm feeling real special. You know how all of these cats be out there like, I'm seeing 333. I'm seeing 222. I'm seeing this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, say word, say word. Well, guess what? I'm having that experience as well, except mine has been lately it's been 333. Now, typically my numbers are 444. Those is my numbers right there. You know what I'm saying? And I know when I see that 444, spirit let me know they got my back. They looking out for me. They holding me down, right? However, I was seeing that 333 and the 333. Hold up, where my guide at? Make sure. But the 333, let me put this shit down because the only thing it do is just slow my mind down. With the 333, what it tells me is all about me making sure that I'm communicating effectively, right? So when I see that, that's my reminder that I'm communicating effectively and everything. Now, some folks, they see that shit a little bit differently. You get to do that. I ain't mad at you, right? But this is all about me connecting to my creativity, all of the shit that I'm trying to work on, what I'm going for, and all of this other stuff. So when I saw that 333 in the morning and everything, I'm thinking that I'm about to get a download. Spirit had a message for me. So I'm getting quiet and shit like that. I had to go on upstairs and everything. And I just started jotting some shit down and got some mighty, mighty, mighty downloads. So stay tuned for some shit that's coming to a theater near you, without a doubt. So I'm seeing all of that. That 444, letting me know the spirit definitely has my back, looking out for me, holding me down and everything. Before is all about foundations. You know what I'm saying? All about being held down. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it, shit like that. Then yesterday was that 12-12, right? That 12 for me is that visionary energy, right? That 12 energy is all about for me. It is all about really stepping into your power. You know what I'm saying? Recognizing you got all the tools to win. You got to trust yourself and move forward. And so we getting a double dose of that energy for us to step on through, step into our power, and really be about the business of laying the shit that we got within our mind out and down and putting that shit out in the world, instead of allowing it to just like spin around in the realm of imagination and everything. A lot of other magical shit has been happening for me. I found my carnelian ring. I am super psyched about this. Now, let me tell you the story. See, this go back many moons, right? And I'm talking like maybe more than 10 years ago, maybe longer. I was out at, I think, a farmer's market, and there was a girl, she was out there, she was selling jewelry that she made and all of this other stuff, and she was really sweet. And I definitely wanted to support her. I liked her vibe, her energy was right and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So I got a couple of items and whatnot. And there was another brother, they selling shea butter. You know how they do it. You know what I'm saying? They showing up, they doing their thing and all of that other stuff. So she came over to me and she said, you know what? Spirit told me that you gonna need this later. Let me get this to you. This is gonna help to protect you. And I thought, okay, well, I didn't think nothing of it. I said, oh yeah, for real. And I'm like, for what? So I thought she knew something I didn't. She was like, oh, no. This is just a protective thing. Sometimes you got to protect yourself from yourself. Word. So I said, okay, sis. So she gave me this carnelian ring that she had. I think this is copper, whatever this is, you know what I'm saying? Look gold and everything. But I done washed dishes with it, cleaned up with it. It has not turned. So I'm going to give my best guess and say that this is copper, right? However, whatever it is and everything, I know that with working with that shit, I was just like really feeling right and exact. Like I was definitely in a zone working with that energy. Now, fast forward, I lost that shit. For years, I couldn't find that shit. And so I wasn't wearing it and all of this other shit, you know what I'm saying? And then, the space I was in, whatever, forgot all about that shit and everything. So I'm shuffling about, bada bing, did I find my carnelian ring? I was so elated, fam, so elated. So I put that shit on and I instantly felt mighty and magical. So shout out to the sister. I wish I remember what her name was and everything, but who gave me that ring. She gifted it to me. Such a beautiful energy, such a beautiful, wonderful sister who just really empowered me with a beautiful tool of protection. So, that carnelian and everything, it works with that sacral chakra. And a lot of us right now are really moving past a lot of trauma from childhood and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That age from 7 to age 14, that's the sacral chakra energy, right? And that sacral chakra development happens along those time periods. So any traumatic experience, perceived or actual traumatic experiences, right? Because like what's a trauma for you may not be a trauma for somebody else, might not be a trauma for me. What's a trauma for you? Somebody, that miss like showing up to an important game that you had and everything, and you was all disappointed. That might be really traumatic for you, but not so much for me, at that particular point in time, because, my parents, they might show up under the influence, embarrass the shit out of me. So it was kind of better they didn't show up sometimes. Sometimes, I wanted them to be there, all depending, but I knew who I was dealing with, wasn't mad at them. Like, that's just the way it was. You know what I'm saying? I got other shit, you know what I'm saying, to be focused on, right? So, but it was all good at the end of the day. However, this is a stone that will assist you with being able to heal a lot of that stuff. And so when you go back into like certain memories, certain things that, you may have perceived as traumatic, or, you know what I'm saying? Some of those glitches in the road to kind of change your perception and shit like that. Because even though, let me just check in with that too, because it could be perceived as a little bit of a trauma. Because if somebody don't show up to something you thought was really important to you, like that can kind of change your whole trajectory on how you feel about folks in your relationships, making you feel like you can't trust people. People ain't gonna be there for you at the end of the day, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So those are the little things. We all got them. We ain't gonna sit around. Well, if you really need to, but I promise you'll probably get left behind. Not deal with that shit. It ain't you, it's somebody else. No, you're not you. You living that perfect life. Nobody has an issue and everything. And this is why I can't stand when people talk this bullshit about dysfunctional families. Like, what type of stupid shit is that? Like, who is fully functional? Like, ain't nobody running around. Like, this shit we see on TV is a program. Like, we are humans. We are human. We're spiritual beings having human experiences, excuse my French. And we got to recognize that we are always going to face challenges. We are not perfect beings. It's not, and we get so programmed in how it's supposed to go and what it looks like that we forget what it really is and start really being able to embrace the isness that is our lives. And so in those particular years, it tends to change the way and how we deal with our relationships, sacral chakra shit, at the end of the day. So let me stop rambling with that shit. But anyway, a very powerful stone to work with. So now I'm working with that. I'm feeling real good about that and everything. The energy off of it was off the hook, because where it was at was right where it was getting charged the hell up, probably for a minute or two. You see, I'm all charged up and everything. And I'm sitting up here and I'm sipping on some spring water and some blueberry juice. I put that together because I'm trying to get myself. Now, I know I left the drugs and alcohol alone for a spell. Now, fuck what you heard. All right. For a spell. Because I was moved to do so. And now I'm trying to make some better choices, right? So now I'm trying to get the hell up off of the soda pops and all of that other shit. I never really was, well, I was once upon it, like back in the day, you know what I'm saying? But lately, I've never really been that big of a soda pop drinker and shit like that, just on occasion and whatnot. But that whole fizzy thing, once in a while, I get that craving for it. And so what I've been doing is rocking with these sparkling spring waters and combining them with juices and shit like that. And that's just really been working for me. And then now I'm trying to upgrade my juice game, right? So now I'm taking like fresh blueberries or frozen fruits and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And making me a simple sugar, right? So I'm getting some hot water, some honey, mixing that together until it's liquefied and whatnot, right? And then I'm throwing a little bit of that up in there, right? Maybe a dash or two of stevia. Don't put too much in it, because then it tastes like you got aspartame in your shit. Now, I don't even know how. It's supposed to be all natural. It still tastes weird as hell. If you got to gauge that stevia. You got to tread lightly with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Adding a little bit of that in my Vitamix or your blender, whatever in the hell it is you got. I likes that Vitamix. It juice some shit up real properly and everything, where I don't have to, go through the change of throwing all of that pulp away. I want all my nutrition. I needs all that shit, right? So I throws that in a Vitamix, let it grind up real good and everything. Make me a beautiful juice to go with that. And then I add my little sparkly sparks and rock with it like that. Just a hint of sweetener, not enough to make it sweet like you drinking soda pop, but just enough to get that bitter edge off of it. You heard? And it works really nicely for me. So I wanted to find out, what y'all do for that 1212 portal, though. That 1212 portal was deep. I just told y'all, download, download, download. So now today is the 13th, and the 13th is a very, very powerful number, right? And I forgot, I got some family members who had a birthday on 12/12. They twins too. Shout out to them. I know you watching this. I know you are. But happy birthday to y'all. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So that 13, hold up. I have wrote down a couple of thoughts on that. So I was looking in, shout out to the King Simon book, the Numerovation for Mental Stability. I got to tell you something. That right there is a powerful working right there, because this right here is helping and adding to, see, I like things that will help to support my wellness, that will help me to be able to assist others in supporting their wellness and everything. And that's a powerful tool right there that just really allows me to use that numerology. I'm an astronumerative, intuitive, and this is a beautiful addition to help me in being able to be of assistance. So that 13 is that power and dominion number. Now, see, the folks that got number 13, my mom was born on the 13th. Stevie Wonder is the 13th. I know a priestess who's on the 13th as well. That 13 number is that power and dominion number. See, one of the things that those 13s, they don't know how powerful they are. They don't know how powerful they are. But when they figure that shit out, when they really, really recognize who they are, watch out. Watch out, watch out. Look out, look out. But I'm here to tell you something. That number 13 energy is mad powerful. Now look at what Stevie Wonder do with that shit. I'm here to tell you. And that's just one aspect of how most gangster, those individuals that's holding that number. But then on the flip side, you also got to watch out for melancholy that comes up. You know what I'm saying? Because also those individuals with 4 vibration energy, yours truly here included, but those individuals with 4 vibration energy, if they don't really if they're not really mindful, if they're not really paying attention, there is a capacity for dark thoughts to enter. So you got to be watchful. You got to be mindful when you hold in that 4 vibration. And the number 13 is definitely one of them that, that are a part of that 4 energy. The 4 energies are 13, 22, and 31. And of course, 4. Without a doubt, right? So you definitely got to make sure that you are minding your thoughts. Really get yourself a gratitude journal, find you some positive music to meditate in. Quit hanging around motherfuckers that ain't got nothing positive to say, nothing bright to bring to the table, always seeing the dark side of shit and all of that type of shit. Keep them folks, you know what I'm saying, by the wayside. There's some folks you can't get rid of them, like you kind of attached to them and shit like that, but they only need to get but so much of your time, I assure you, because what that does is it affects you, in a special way. If you read Robert Greene's book, 48 Laws of Power, that's one of the laws that's in that book, of avoiding the unfortunate and the unlucky. And I know you ain't gonna want to hear that shit, but I'm trying to tell you, you want to win? Okay. All right. Now, if you want to keep going through cycles of fuckery and foolishness, hang around some unfortunate and unlucky motherfuckers. That's what you can do. However, that's one of the 48 laws of power, is stay away from those folks. Don't mean you don't love them. Give them a pound, show them love, keep it moving. You heard? So I just wanted to say that. The other thing that I want to remind those number 4 energies, it's connected to Jupiter too, that Sag energy and everything. We'll be dealing with that shit. But that number 4 energy, you got to watch out for the secret haters. You got some folks smiling in your face all the time. They want want to take your place. Da, 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 da. Watch out for those folks. You do have to watch out for those folks. I recommend all of you individuals that hold that 4 energy, get yourself one of them evil eye pendants, right? Get yourself one of those shits. And the reason why I say that, like, I know that there's a teaching that's out there that tells you that you really can't be messed with when your vibration is high. That is very true. But in the reality of this world, in the things that we've been dealing with, our vibration, it fluctuates from time to time, right? And some days we ain't really on our star player connection, right? So those particular times when we start experiencing the ebb and flows, because we got to recognize that just like the moon has its phases, so do you and I, right? When we are in those spaces and everything, that's what leaves us open to be most vulnerable. So it is a good idea to make sure that you have those protective devices on your person, some level or the other, calling on those angels to protect you, shielding yourself with light and energy and shit like that. It is essential for you to do that. Not only that, this is a time right now, especially as we about to move over into Saturn season. And Saturn season is all about karma, all about discipline. But one of the things that Saturn asks you is, are you taking in the lessons that life has been presenting to you? Have you been taking those lessons in? And so one of the things we need to really begin looking at is our connections, our relationships, right? How have they been going over the years? This is a time for us to really start taking that knowledge that we got within our head and really start allowing it to become wisdom. So as we move forward in this year of 2024, which is an 8-year, this is all about us stepping into our power, making shit happen. Yes, indeed. Really taking the lessons learned, paying attention to how people project their energy, paying attention to body language, to your intuition, no doubt, no doubt. Just really paying attention so that way we can make more connections that's more in alignment with what it is that we need. But number one, you got to make sure that you that person. That's good, because see, the universe is only going to keep presenting to you who you are at the end of the day, right? And that's on one end or the other. And this is how these empaths end up connecting with these so-called narcissistic personalities and everything, because there's a deficiency within that energy. If you don't deal with it, you keep repeating that lesson over and over again until you finally catch it. Let's move ahead this time and learn that shit in a mighty and powerful way. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of these laws of karma, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save those. But no, I'm going to go on and get it together. Let's get it. Okay, one of the laws, the first one I wanted to set it off with is that law of cause and effect. And this is a law that talks about as you sow, there shall you reap. This is that one that everybody think that karma is all about, right? This is that cause and effect, because whatever you put in to the universe is what's going to be coming back to you, right? That law of cause and effect. You can't get around that. Like the energy that you put out, you can expect that it's coming to you. Don't act surprised when you've been a player hater the whole time and then you find yourself circled around a whole bunch of player haters, right? Because this is that energy that you're putting out there. That's the law of cause and effect, baby. I'm not here to try to hurt your feelings. I'm here to give you some real talk so that you can grow, so that you can heal, so that you can move forward. You heard? Okay. Cool. The law of creation. Shit is not just happening to you. It requires your participation. So quit trying to play this bullshit ass role like you the victim, fam, because life is requiring your participation, right? See, whatever surrounds us gives us clue to our inner state. So when you be yourself and surround yourself with what you want to have and be, you make that shit present within your life. You heard? Are you hearing what I'm trying to say to you? Are you catching what I'm serving for real? Because I really want you to catch this lesson right here. Because see, a lot of us, we want to act surprised and victimized, right? But this is, you know what I'm saying? But see, you create your world. You build your world. So if you sitting around holding this expectation that this is going to be this way and all of this other shit, don't act surprised. Stop it. Quit it. The law of humility, what we refuse to accept, it will continue for you. Are you clear with that? See, this is why I've been so real. This is why I brought out the dark goddesses. This is why I'm always talking about healing. This is why I'm always bringing this real talk, this pissing folks off. And let me let you know that if I am pissing you off talking about dealing with some real shit, then it is probably more than likely you that has not healed that bullshit. Get your shit together. I'm here to tell you, I love you. Get your shit together. Word. The law of humility reminds us, hold up, because I got this written down in my little book right here. What you refuse to accept is going to continue for you. So if what you see is negativity, then you are not focused on a higher level of existence. Now let's talk about that. See, this is where I was talking about that number 4 energy. Yeah, that hit me in a special way right there. See, when I'm focusing on negativity, what I noticed is that I get far more negativity within my life, negativity. And I sit back and I expect the worst out of people. And I expect folks not to come through. And I expect to lose. And guess what happened? I had to stop that shit. I had to stop that shit. And when I did, I started winning and I started noticing shit started shifting. It was a powerful thing. So let's move on to the law of growth. Wherever you go, there you are. I had to put that down because that in essence explains the law of growth. John Kabat-Zinn wrote this book called Wherever You Go, There You Are. And this is really all about, taking that meditative approach of being in the present moment and whatnot. But this is some real talk. You know what I'm saying? You can't think that you go just change your environment and you ain't did shit to change yourself, right? See, because when you grow in spirit, you got to change, not other folks. It got to be you, because the only person that you can control at the end of the day is you. So when you change, I promise you, baby, your world is going to change, my love. It's going to change and shit's going to start brightening up in your beautiful world. No doubt. Then let's talk about responsibility, because there's a law about that shit. Did you know that there's levels to this game? I'm bringing it to you. The law of responsibility is about we mirror the things that surrounds us. And when something is wrong in your life, then something is wrong with you. Or if something was wrong in my life, something is wrong with me. So we got to take responsibility for what's going on in our life. See, we missing the boat. We always looking for somebody else to point at. It's them. They made me mad. They said this to me, and I don't appreciate what they did. But you got to check in with what you did. See, what's really going on is you mad because you didn't show up. See, because if you show up for yourself, you ain't upset. If you doing all the things, if you on your game, all right, let's move on. Connection. Everything is connected. Even those things that seem like they're inconsequential. The past, the present, the future, all of that shit is connected. You need to know that. All of the shit. See, nothing is happenstance. There are no coincidences out here in this street. We need to be clear on that. See, as we move forward into the year 2022, we need to recognize, see, this is why we got to do all of this healing. They talking about all this inner child shit. That's the past. Why you got to do that? Because it's all connected. You bring that shit right along with you to your present and your future. Okay. All right. The law of focus. Y'all know we heard about what we focus on being, what you focus on grows, right? See, when we focus on high vibes, when we keep ourselves in that higher vibration, it is impossible to have these low thoughts. See, and this is going back to what I was just talking about how a lot of these cats is out here in the street saying you don't need no protection advice. You need to vibrate high. Very true. Very, very true. However, if I could just be that person that just stayed in this floating vibration all the time, help me, y'all. Pray for me because I'm working on that. However, there's some days I got off days, so I need to make sure that I'm shifting my focus so that I can get back in alignment with the direction that I'm going to. Because what I know for sure is that I can't think of two things at the same time. The mind just don't work that way. See, I can't be sitting around focusing on the positive and then expecting the negative at the same time. No, sir. See, when that vibration is high, the expectation is high. And then I start attracting higher things. This is how I move myself up from a lower plane to a higher plane. I got to raise my frequency. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this. The law of giving and hospitality. See, if you believe something to be true, you're going to be called to demonstrate that truth. And this is where we put in what we claim that we have learned in the practice. See, you out here in these spiritual streets, you reading all of these books, you doing all of these things and all of this other stuff. You gonna get called on to demonstrate, to show how so. This is the reason why I think this is so important that we put this work in, that we get out here, we show our ass to the beasts out here in these streets. Who's the beast, you say? We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. The Christian scriptures say we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. We wrestle against principality, spiritual wickedness in high places, but I say in all places. So what am I talking about? What the hell does that mean? It means that it ain't about the folks that's showing up in rare form. It's that energy that permeates individuals. When you in that lower frequency, when you in that lower vibration, you take on this energy that turns into, see, that's what the beast is. It's in all of us, maybe. It's in all of us. And when we in that lower vibration, we got to understand that, see, we take this shit all personally and shit like that at the end of the day. Now, there's some folks, they want to dwell in that energy. They get to do that. I ain't here for that. What I'm talking about is recognizing that this is energetic, that this is a spiritual warfare. We talking about the energy of what's going on out here in these streets. These folks out here, they just allow that energy to use them. You feel me? All right, cool. All right. And then hold up. The law of here and now. See, looking back, it prevents us from being present. Old shit prevents new shit. Why you think it's so important to heal? See, this law here and now right there, it's letting you know about, see, you can't drive looking through the rear view mirror for long. You go wreck your car. You sitting up there looking back, checking the rear view mirror, and you ain't looking ahead. You going this way. You ain't going that way. So this is why this law is in effect right here. And this is why it's important that we keep it moving forward. We keep going. See, we going in this direction. We got to be clear on the direction that we going. We can't be out here fucking around in these streets playing games with folks. We ain't doing that, right? We got to really be about that business of moving forward. The law here and now. Now the law of change. Now this is something you knew, but I'm going to remind you anyway, because it's my duty. I got to do it. History will repeat itself until we learn the lessons we need in order to change directions. This is that shit that I'm talking about when I say you want to repeat another cycle. See, I had to get on right now because we just started a new cycle, and I want to make sure that we in the house right now so that we can move forward. So when we get into this next year, I need this to marinate. You understand what I'm saying? I need this to marinate. See, so we can let all of the fuckery fall by the wayside, right? so that we ain't repeating another cycle. And then you can't be acting surprised. You keep doing all of that same shit from that hurt place because you allowing your vibration to stay in this negative shit, allowing the beast to work through you. And then you get a lot of whole low vibration experiences. And then you want to sit around acting surprised. It ain't you though, right? Oh, okay. It ain't you. It's somebody else. Whatever. All right. So the law of patience and reward. All rewards require initial toil. Rewards of lasting value require patience, persistence, and toil. Joy comes from doing what you're supposed to do, and the reward will come. Ooh, man, I need to hear that shit. I was sitting back thinking to myself, like, you know what I think? I'm just working and toiling and toiling and toiling. What the fuck am I doing at the end of the day in these cosmic streets? But this right here is really letting me know persistence, lasting value. And now, you know, this is what spirit, I guess this is what spirit, because I'm thinking, you know, I don't know. Is spirit's just trying to make me just stay in this humble place where I just got to show up anyway. Don't give a fuck if there ain't nobody paying attention to what I'm talking about. I can just get up here and just do it anyway because this is what spirit told me to do, whatever. The law of patience, reward, whatever. But I'm here. Like I said, I'm here. I'm obedient to spirit, and this is what I'm here for. All right. So, anyway, the law of significance and inspiration last, but certainly not the least of it. You get back whatever you put into it. Love and contributions bring life and inspire to the whole. That work on both ends, baby. What you give is what you get. Make no mistake about it. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Huh? What you give is what you get. This is the law of significance and inspiration. You get back whatever you put into it. There's laws to this game. There's rules to these cosmic streets out here. Make no mistake about it. Don't think because you running around thinking that you a good person, that you kind to folks. Did you know that kindness is the sweetest con? You know, you can really pull some shit on folks. Hey, what is that shit where they show people they conning the shit out of folks? They the nicest people, ain't they? Most of these politicians, they just as sweet as they can be. The sweetest con, I'm here to tell you. So we can't hold space. I mean, it's a good thing to do. Courtesy, respect is the minimum. We know that. Let's not play a game with that. You know, I don't want nobody out here being dry and stank-a-dank to me and their energy. I don't need that aggravation either, right? But we got to look past the surface. And this is what I'm talking about looking into shit instead of just at it. So I'm going to get her. Hold up. Let me see what goddess is coming through. I'm going to pull a quick card, see what message we got from the goddesses before I roll up out of here. And then we calling it. Yeah, we calling it. Sekhmet came through. I can't make this shit up. See, these dark goddesses, they ain't here to play no games with you. Let your darker emotions bring you strength. Let your darker emotions bring you strength. See, when you know who you are, when you in tune with your star player, when you are clear and aware of who it is that you are, you start navigating the streets. See, that's what real emotional intelligence is. Not running around being courteous to people out here in these streets. You can be courteous. Baby, please, trust me. It's a good thing to do. I'm not make no mistake about it. But you know, this is also a way that people use to manipulate folks. But when you in tune with who you are, you ain't running up and down the street triggered every time somebody says something to you when you do some simple shit. I'm telling you this in love. I hope that this was helpful for you. Peace and light. Peace and love.